We all know who Cam Newton is. He won a Heisman Trophy and National Championship at Auburn. In the NFL, he won an MVP, and he was a pretty good quarterback. But there's one thing a lot of people don't know about Cam Newton, and that's that he has a younger brother who also played football. Whoa, hold on. You're probably thinking his brother wasn't that good, and you'd be completely wrong. Newton's brother coming out of high school was regarded as a 3-star recruit, also playing the quarterback position, and even had an offer from Auburn. Many people out there was thinking, hey, maybe we'll see a case of his younger brother take over the reins and be the next great Auburn quarterback. You couldn't even say those people were being unrealistic because his brother was a 3-star recruit and he was a really good high school football player. It's not like he was a slouch or knockoff version, he could actually play. Cam Newton's brother was looking like he could possibly be the next great athlete in the family, but however, let's just say things haven't necessarily turned out the way he hoped they would. He's had some ups and he's had some downs, so therefore it leaves us with the question today: what really happened to Kayin Newton? What's good, y'all? Hope you're having a blessed day. We're on the road to 200K and we can't get there without your help, so I appreciate it. If you enjoy the content, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, doing nice stuff, and now without further ado, let's get into it. Kayin Newton. This is a very unique story for the main reason that we know his brother Cam Newton, so you figured a lot of people would know Kayin, but that's not the case. Now that I think about it, would it be outrageous for me to say that Cam Newton is a college football legend? I understand he only had one season at Auburn, but in that 1 year, it was something that if you saw it and witnessed it, you'll never forget. So with that being said, you would think somebody who has the status of Cam Newton, if you were a brother or sibling to him, you would get some recognition, especially if you also played football and was really good at it. Unfortunately for Cam Newton's brother, Kayin Newton, he has somewhat got lost into the shadow of things. We see this happen a lot, and I'm sure some of you out there too, you can relate to this. If your older brother is very successful, you kind of get compared to him and lost in the shadows. That's kind of what happened here, and it's almost unfair to Kayin Newton because no matter what he did at the college level, there was no way he was going to surpass his brother unless he did something 2 times better. When you're the younger brother and your older brother wins a Heisman Trophy, it's hard to top that or do much better. You got to think about it and try to put yourself in his position. All throughout Kayin's football career, after every game, after every season, it doesn't matter, he's getting compared to his brother. For example, in high school, he could throw for 300 yards and people would say, oh, that doesn't matter, your big brother threw for 400 last Saturday against LSU. You see what I'm saying? It's just a never-ending cycle of, oh, you're not going to be better than your brother. I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself. Before we go any farther, let's throw it all the way back to when Kayin's football career started. Kayin Newton played his high school football in Atlanta, Georgia, and as a sophomore, he was starting for the varsity team. Oh yeah, I guess I forgot to say this. He was also a quarterback, and he passed for 700 yards and ran for over 200. He was only in 10th grade, so it's not all too bad. He had 14 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions. In his junior season, he improved a lot. He threw for 1,600 yards, had 18 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions. He did also add 347 yards on the ground, so he was proving that he was somewhat like his brother. He was a dual threat quarterback. In his senior year is when his numbers really jumped off of the board, because listen to this. He threw for over 3,300 yards, had 33 touchdowns to only 8 interceptions. If you thought that was good, you're in for a treat with this. On the ground, he had 92 carries for 1,036 yards, which comes to an average of 11.3 yards a carry. To go along with his 33 passing touchdowns, he also added 13 more on the ground, so he nearly had 50. For his recruitment process, a lot of people was feeling 2 types of way about it. You had some saying that, man, he has a lot of potential and he's really good, and you also had your haters and critics saying, oh, he's only being ranked as a 3-star because his name is Kayin Newton and he's related to Cam Newton. I'm going to be brutally honest in this next statement. Did Cam Newton being his older brother play a factor in his recruiting? Yeah, more than likely, and if you don't think so, you're just oblivious to the facts. It's just proven in common knowledge if you're a younger sibling or your dad played in the NFL or the NBA, yeah, you're going to be looked at as a higher rated recruit because of that. Or not a highly rated recruit, let me put it in a better way. More eyes are going to be on you and you're going to have more opportunities. I think that's fair to say. But however, I don't think that's why he got all the scholarship offers he did and why he was rated as a 3-star recruit. I think he was rated that high because he was good at football. Labeling him as a 3-star recruit, that's fine with me. He's not a crazy 5-star or 4-star, and he put up the numbers to back it up at the high school level. I believe he earned the ranking. If you disagree, it is what it is. Anyways, let's get a move on. Obviously, with Cam Newton going to Auburn and being a flat-out legend there, everybody was like, hey, maybe we should take a look at him. And in 2016, he did take an unofficial visit. There was one downside about Kayin Newton, though. The fact that he was only 5'11" and 185 pounds. At the high school level, yeah, you can get away with that. But at the college level, not too many 5'10", 5'11" quarterbacks are going out there and playing phenomenal, and especially in the SEC doing good. I really don't know what happened there either, because his brother is 6'5", so how in the heck is he only 5'11"? I guess he got the bad side of the genes. With him only being 5'11", a lot of these major D1 programs, they weren't going after him. And I gotta give him credit, because it would have been real easy for him to say, man, I want to go to Auburn. That's a great place to go. My brother went there, so maybe they'll give me a chance, and he just knew that wasn't going to happen. He was real smart with his recruitment process, and a bunch of these other 2, 3, and 4-star recruits, they should take notes. We see it all the time where these 3 and 4-star recruits, they go to Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, and they don't even sniff or get close to getting on the field, when in reality, if they'd go to a lesser program, they could be a star player. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly what Kayin Newton did. On January 5th in 2017, he decided to commit to the Howard Bison. For those of you that don't know, Howard is technically D1, but they're FCS. So they're D1, but FCS. If you know, you know what I'm talking about. In my humbled opinion, let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. This was a smart move, because if he goes to Howard as a 3-star recruit, more than likely he's going to be one of the best players there. Whereas if he goes to Auburn as a 3-star recruit, he's not even going to play. In his first season there in 2017 as a freshman, he had a not so great season. We'll take a look at his passing numbers first. He completed 133 out of 263 balls, which is right at 50%. Not so hot. To go along with that, he threw for 2,400 yards, had 13 touchdowns, but 12 interceptions. How do I say this nicely? It wasn't exactly a good season throwing the ball. Remember, he was a dual threat quarterback. On the ground, he had 166 carries for 753 yards and 12 touchdowns. I have a rule of thumb. I never like to criticize freshmen too much if they weren't a 5-star recruit. For example, let's say Bryce Young in this most recent year, if he would have went out there for Alabama and played horrendous, yeah, I would have criticized him because he was the #1 quarterback in high school and a 5-star recruit. But for Kayin Newton, remember, he was only a 3-star recruit and he wasn't supposed to be that good, and this was his freshman year, so I can't be too upset about it. The one thing I'll look for in every single player, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, is if you improve from your freshman season to the next one, and you got to improve after that year too. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. He was bad his freshman year. Let's look at his sophomore season. In 2018, after having a full year of starting under his belt, he only had a completion percentage of right at 50%. You see it right here. He was 156 for 304. If you want to be a nerd and get all technical about it, if you do the math, I think in 2017 and 18, if you do the percentages right, both of them were exactly 51% completion percentages. Look, I don't even think I have to tell you guys this, and that's not too good. Moving along, he did throw for 2,600 yards, had 22 touchdowns, but he also had 17, yes that's right, 17 interceptions. Definitely not good, and definitely not what you like to see. His freshman season and his sophomore season were almost identical. Taking a look at his rushing stats, they actually got worse. On the ground, he only had 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, and only averaged 3 yards a carry. Heading into his junior year, everybody around him and everyone around the program was expecting him to do much better, and I think that's reasonable. He wasn't too good his first year, and he wasn't too much better his second year, so maybe in his third year he would pop off and this would be his breakout year. I do want to throw in there, in his freshman season, he did win Offensive Rookie of the Year in his league, but I still don't think he played that good. I'm trying to be optimistic. I think at best you could say at times he was okay, but to label him as good, no, that's just not right. His junior year is where things start to get a little interesting because he did play in 4 games, but after those 4 games, he announced he was going to leave the program. He wound up only playing in 4 games in that 2019 season, which was his junior year, so since he only played 4 games, he got to redshirt. I know what some of you are probably sitting there wondering, yo Matt, why did he only play 4 games and up and leave? We don't have a direct answer, but we can put 2 and 2 together and we can piece the information together. One of the biggest parts is that him at Howard, it wasn't a good fit. He wasn't playing that good and it just seemed like he needed a fresh start. And number 2, they also got a new head coach. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that he didn't like the head coach and he didn't like the system, so he felt like what was best for his career was to leave, and I can't fault him for that. I'm never going to fault a player for leaving a program for a better opportunity because 1, that's what the transfer portal is for, and number 2, if these head coaches can leave programs whenever they want, why can't players do the same? That's a completely different conversation for a different day. Let's get back on topic with Kayin. Remember, he got to redshirt since he only played in 4 games, so technically he had 2 years left of eligibility. And with those 2 years left, he decided he was going to transfer and commit and sign with Auburn. Well, it's kind of crazy how things turn out. Eventually, somehow, someway, he ended back up at Auburn where his brother played. I actually remember when this happened. He announced on May 22nd in 2020 that he was going back there, and there was a lot of buzz around it. You had some saying that potentially he could be a weapon that Auburn uses on the offensive side of the ball, and it was just a great story. Cam Newton was a legend, and now you're getting his younger brother. There was a catch to all this. He wasn't transferring to Auburn to play the quarterback position, he was transferring to play wide receiver. I guess he realized and came to the conclusion that he's not so great of a quarterback and he might as well try his luck at a different position, and I can't blame him. I'm sure he was thinking about the bigger picture and possibly playing at the next level in the NFL, and he knew he wasn't going to get to the NFL playing the quarterback position. Before he joined Auburn, in an interview, he was asked what it's like to be Cam Newton's brother, and here's what he had to say. It's a blessing. It's like a blueprint for success to see what he does and learn from his mistakes, and to learn what works for him and to see why he is so successful and just do it. We're 2 different people, but to learn from him and have a good relationship from an NFL MVP and to have an MVP quarterback as my sibling, it doesn't really get any better than that. Although things didn't go exactly how he hoped they would at Howard, it looked like things were turning around in the right direction. I don't want to say he was starting his football career over, but it's like he was getting a fresh start. He's joining a new program, playing a new position. It's just different. But for Auburn in 2 years, he rarely saw the field and he only had 1 catch for 31 yards. I do want to throw in there, and you'd have to be watching this game to remember it, but he had a big block punt against Georgia State where if he didn't block that punt, Auburn might have lost that game. There's not too much to say about his Auburn career. He rarely played like you see from the stats, and the only time he did play was on special teams. That is a major, and I mean a major difference, I don't think some of you quite understand. He went from being a starting quarterback playing every single game for 2 seasons to in his next 2 years at Auburn, he didn't even play. If you played sports or you're currently playing sports, you know, and you can vouch for me on this, that hurts your ego. And I don't care if it is a program like Auburn, as an athlete, you want to play football. You're not doing all these spring practices and workouts and working extremely hard just to sit the bench every single game. As quickly as his Auburn career started, it ended because on January 14th in 2022, which was only a month or 2 ago, he announced he's entering the transfer portal. That should have been a shock to nobody. He wasn't playing, but the real question with all this is where is he going to go and what's he going to do? After some thinking, he decided and announced that he was going to finish out his football career at William & Mary. According to his Instagram, they have him listed as a wide receiver, so I'm going to assume he's going there to play that position. I'd almost 100% guarantee it because there's no reason for him to go back and try to play quarterback. William & Mary, just like Howard, who he formerly played for, is also Division I, but they're FCS. That is where Kayin Newton is currently at, and it appears to seem he's going to finish out his career there. As far as what's next, maybe potentially the NFL, I don't think so, and I'd say there's a 0.001% chance of him getting there. He's not a good prospect, he's not even an average prospect, and I even think giving him the label prospect is too much. He's not going to get drafted, and I wouldn't expect any team to pick him up just because he's Cam Newton's brother. Heck, Cam Newton is even struggling to find a job right now. Also, going off of his Instagram, he said in May he'll be done with his master's degree, and that is a pretty big deal. From what I saw, he did get his degree from Howard, and now he's working on his master's at Auburn. I assume he's going to try to do something with that degree and work on stuff off the field. Yeah, that's the up-to-date on Kayin Newton. Didn't really have that great of or good of a college career, but he seems like a humble and great person, I'm not gonna lie. Anybody that gets a degree alone, but a master's degree, has all my respect. College is hard, and you gotta put on top of that, he's also an athlete. I also want to give him major props because in a lot of these story videos, whenever their careers on the field don't work out, they turn out to either go to jail or be some bum, and he hasn't done that. It doesn't seem like he's depressed that he hasn't had that great of a football career, and it seems like he's motivated. Much respect to him, and it's all love for my way. Let me know your thoughts down below, but with all that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, what are you doing? Join the family, hit that subscribe button, and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.